starved, physically and sexually abused, shoved in tight spaces with dozens of other people. Those are the inhumane conditions the feds say they're finding migrants in across Albuquerque. In the last year, local and federal police uncovered what they're calling a surprising number of stash houses in the city. Homes and apartments where human smugglers hide people they help enter the United States illegally, on their way to a new life in the country. In a KRQE investigation, Ann Perret shows you the federal investigations and asks why Albuquerque is now a main hub.
Hey, open the door. Open the window.
Albuquerque Police, with guns in hand, outside this single-wide trailer, yelling at a suspected smuggler who, after he spotted them, police say, closed the curtains. Parts of the video are blacked out because of who's working the case and what they find once inside. The APD report shows detectives were led here on a tip. A Mexican woman is being held against her will.
You're gonna be packed in.
Yeah, there's more in the back room. I could see their heads up in that window.
Inside the trailer, police locate 60 people believed to have been smuggled into the country illegally, including children and their victim.
That's the girl we've been looking for.
The suspected smuggler is arrested outside the home here. His criminal complaint shows the young woman told investigators he threatened to kill her if family didn't send more money. But even after they did, she says he didn't let her go. She also shares the other women and girls were sexually assaulted, beaten, and starved. The abuse escalated if they didn't cook and clean for members of the smuggling organization.
The air vent where all the girls were, the stuff was stuff. So no things coming in.
All these people are sick.
APD uncovered a stash house. Detectives call in Homeland Security investigations to take over. This is now a human smuggling case.
The conditions in these stash houses are egregious and shocking to the conscience. I would say most people could not fathom.
HSI's Deputy Special Agent in Charge, Jason Stevens, says since October 2022, his Albuquerque office has been dealing with an unprecedented increase in stash house discoveries.
So I was surprised. I know historically that hasn't been a thing here.
Caught off guard, he had to get help from other federal offices. Stevens and U.S. Attorney Alexander Ubaez believe it's only going to continue.
Cartels have really pivoted their focus, and the majority of their profits now come from human smuggling enterprises and no longer from narcotics.
A change he says his office is paying attention to.
It used to be that we required a certain number of migrants in a load or in a house in order for us to charge. We've completely reoriented that to focus on danger to the community, to risk, and to connections to transnational organized crime.
With that threshold, Ubaez says not every so-called bad actor faces charges.
Our effort has really changed to focus on those who make profit off of, the absolute misery and desperation of these migrants.
In December, Bernalillo County deputies respond to a call about multiple people jumping out of this semi-trailer.
There's a car pulling out too.
They end up arriving just in time to catch a suspected smuggler.
Hola. Licencias.
Records show this man from Venezuela admitted to receiving $4,500 and 2 rifles to drive that semi up I-25 from El Paso with 51 people in the back, including 3 teenagers. HSI agents removed them one by one from a basement apartment. The criminal complaint says 47 of them were hiding behind this bookshelf. And it's noted this is one of multiple trips that month the truck made between the two cities. The man is charged with transporting illegal aliens, among other federal crimes.
This is the next stop for anything coming out of El Paso, Las Cruces, Deming, even sometimes Douglas, Arizona. We're getting loads from Arizona that come up as well. There's least resistance in New Mexico than there are other states.
What he means by least resistance, Deputy SAC Stevens explains, is less enforcement.
So you have Texas DPS that's working right. You also have the state troopers that are working it. The same in Arizona, there's additional pressure applied there, and you've got the National Guard that's there. Well, in New Mexico, you've got your Border Patrol resources, and that's it.
Beyond that, he says Albuquerque's an ideal stop with its 2 interstates, I-40 and I-25.
Questions that come to my mind is, could this be a problem? And my answer is yes. We want to make sure that we're not behind the power curve, and I believe we already are.
Sheriff John Allen says with his deputies responding first to a lot of these calls, he's working to develop a training on how to identify the suspect immediately to protect the people being held in a house or vehicle.
We need to separate them. We don't want people being re-victimized who are just trying to come here to have a better life. It is an issue. I don't want it to become a crisis.
The U.S. Attorney says people smuggled here do not typically face criminal charges for illegally entering the country, but that doesn't mean they all get to stay in the U.S. He says some are flown back to their home countries, others seek asylum and get to stay, and a handful stay because they become material witnesses in the case against their smuggler. Ann Perret, KRQE investigates.
Human smuggling is a multi-billion-dollar criminal enterprise for cartels and human smuggling organizations, according to the U.S. Border Patrol. As part of our investigation into this issue, Ann Perret traveled to the border to speak with the agency and find out how people are smuggled in. We'll have that answer and a first-hand account of a group's journey to the U.S. next week on KRQE News 13 at 5:30.